Of the many people accused, the most notable and remembered is Agnes Sampson, a well-respected midwife and healer. Agnes provided her medical expertise for the population of her surrounding area, until she was accused of witchcraft during the panic that overtook Scotland. It began in 1590, when King James VI of Scotland returned home from Oslo. He had just married Anne, the King of Norway, Denmark's daughter. James and Anne's journey back to Scotland had been wrought with terrible storms and turbulence. This could certainly not have been an act of God or by coincidence, and was instead blamed on witchcraft. James had heard of a mass witch hunt taking place at the time in Copenhagen, with those accused confessing to using sorcery to curse Anne's voyage. Upon hearing this, James decided to set up a similar trial back home in Scotland, taking a lead role in the trials and inquisitions. Scotland was thrust into mass hysteria and chaos, with hundreds of women and men being accused. One such individual, Gillis Duncan, upon torture confessed to practicing witchcraft and causing storms to disrupt the royal voyage. In her confession, Gillis named a number of other witches, including Agnes Sampson. Agnes was promptly arrested and interrogated, and accused of gathering with the devil and other witches on Halloween night of 1590 to conjure storms to sink the royal fleet. Sampson denied any association with witchcraft. She was tortured and brought before King James himself, and continued to deny the accusations. In fashion for the time, the severity of her torture was increased. Agnes was stripped naked, and her head and entire body was shaved. Shaving those accused was common practice, as the inquisitors were looking for a witch's mark, any birthmark or skin defect that was believed to come from being pricked by Satan. Agnes was thrown around her prison cell and constantly kept awake. Most infamously, she was forced to wear a witch's bridle, an iron muzzle put around her entire head and fastened to the cell wall, with several spikes going into her mouth, half pressing against her tongue and the other half pressing against her cheeks. Agnes would have been unable to speak. The device was common throughout Europe and America and was used against lower-class women as a tool for public humiliation and torture. It was only after increased abuse and torture did Agnes confess. She was promptly strangled to death, then burned as a witch, the first of roughly 70 Berwick witches to be killed. Agnes Sampson's story is all too common during this period, known as the Burning Times. Potentially tens of thousands, if not more, women and men were subjected to torture and abuse under accusations of witchcraft. Many among them, like Agnes, were known to be healers and abortionists, whose medical knowledge was seen as satanic and evil, and a threat to the growing male-dominated field of early modern medicine. It will never be known if Agnes truly consorted with the devil or practiced any form of witchcraft. What is certain, however, is that the torture and abuse used against her, and the thousands of others accused of witchcraft, is the true evil of the world. While her story is painful to read, it's vital to know our history, in hopes of preventing religious persecution from reaching the kind of fervor it did in Europe at this time.